Hello, and welcome to The Curators, a podcast about game projects on Kickstarter. I'm Joey.
And I'm Marcelo. You can find all the games from this episode, as well as plenty of others, at our curated page at kickstarter.com/gamerati.
You can also find links to each of these projects in the show notes of this episode at thecurators.gamerati.com. If you're a backer of any of these projects, we'd love to hear from you. You can email us at thecurators@gamerati.com. Tell us why you're backing a certain project, and we may feature your email on the podcast. So,
welcome back, Joey.
Last week we couldn't do one because I got sick. We were originally going to do it early before the 4th of July, but I got super ill and was like, you know what? I can't actually. I would sound like this, and it's really difficult because I have no nose, and it would just sound terrible. And I still sound a little under the weather. I get the feeling, but it's way better now than it was a week ago. But we're here to talk about two games, one for each of us, and that's largely because for those that listen to us religiously, those that do actually listen to us a lot, they'll know that one of the games, actually two of the games, the first one being Kodama 3D, actually canceled while we were like a day after we were recording, and it's back. So for those that were interested in Kodama 3D when we talked about it last, it now has 7 days to go. You can go back and check it. And the other one, there it is, Complexity. That was the one that actually canceled while we were talking about it. Do you remember that one?
I don't. Oh, yes, I do. Now I do.
Yeah, you were the one that was really excited about it. And then you're like, and it's got 10 days to go and it's totally funded and everything. And you're like, oh my gosh, it canceled. So that one's back as well. Go back it if you were interested in it before. It has come back. The game that I would like to bring to the table, though, for today, because I believe mine is first, only has 7 days to go, is the Crypt X, a narrative puzzle game. Have you ever played one of these types of games, Marcelo?
No, I don't believe so. Whoa. It's kind of like 221 Baker Street.
It's more. Well, I think that this one is more like Exit, the board game, or what was the other one that I have a bunch of them and I can't even remember. Unlock.
Okay.
Is the name of the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's a riddle game where you can only really play it once, because once you know what the answer to the riddles are, it can't really be figured out again. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. In Exit the game, there's a lot of actual destruction of the game that will occur. You have to cut the cards up and rearrange the designs into puzzle pieces and stuff like that. In the Unlock games, you don't have to do that, and I believe that in this game you don't have to either. But this one actually comes with 51 separate puzzles, and it has like a narrative flow to it, whereas all of the other single Unlock games or Exit games have like a $15 experience that's fully contained. In this case, it's the base game is actually only $26, 21 pounds, but you can get the like pumped up version for $46. The pumped up version comes with a notebook and like a postcard or deluxe looking map. It's really kind of cool looking. I'm going to scroll down. This is the Valley of the Kings map. It's really cool looking, and it helps you kind of understand stuff. You get the journal, which is down here. And it kind of, to me, reminds me of Myst, the video game, and how you would find these, like, tomes written by the main protagonist. Well, you're the protagonist, I guess. It'd be written by the guy that wrote the books that allow you to move through worlds in Myst. But they kind of look like this to me, the moleskin with the binding on it. And you get to write in your clues that you found from previous puzzles and kind of where you are in the narrative and how you're going to have to remember certain things. You want to write down notes like you used to in Myst. And I think the whole concept here is a lot of fun. It's a real amped up version of those escape room games is kind of what they call them. And I think that this is a really great project. If you're interested in the sort of Egyptian mythology theme and you want to spend just a little bit extra on something that's going to be a lot more in-depth than, say, a classic Exit or Unlock game, then I highly recommend this one. It's called Crypt X, a narrative puzzle game. It's from Inside the Box Board Games, and it is only 7 days to go, fully funded and everything, but it's only got 7 days left. which is pretty short for most of the games that we usually put up here. We try to keep it like more than a week, and it's only got a week left. So I'm going to take a look at the shipping real quick. I think down at the bottom here we got shipping. So actually for the base game, which is undergraduate right here, it's £3 to the UK, £5 to the USA. The pound is what,
$1 is 80 cents of the pound, so 1 pound is one and a quarter US dollars.
Okay, so you're gonna be paying about $7 or $6.50 for shipping, which is actually pretty reasonable for something like this. Actually, very reasonable for something like this. And so, even at the base level, you're still hovering around $30 for the entire project, which is worth two of the unlock games or two of the exit games. And I really think you're getting more than two of those games, so to speak. I'm using air quotes. Two of those games in value. So you're getting a lot of value for what you're ultimately paying, and I think that this is a great kind of mid-range for these unlock games. Because I know that there were some, maybe even a year ago, there were like some unlock chests, like big games. They were 100, $150 on Kickstarter that had kind of this sort of complexity about it. It was just so high-end. I really wanted to get in on it, but I knew I couldn't really afford that. I didn't want to spend all that time and find a group of friends that would go through it with me, because it boasted hundreds of hours of play, which who knows if it actually had that or not, or anything like that. This says it takes from 7 to 10 hours, so you're looking at roughly 10 plays, which is an average board game. So that's another point actually worth pointing out. 9 times out of 10, you won't play a board game more than 12 times throughout its lifespan. I don't know if you knew that. Most people try to not believe that, because then it makes it sound like your board games aren't getting all the love you would like to give them. And I'm sure there's one board game out there that you've played probably 40 or 50 times, but in this case you'll probably play this one about 10 times and be done and go through the entire scenario. So it's worth a full-size board game at least. And I think it's a great project.
Okay, my game has 14 days to go. You've seen the Isle of Dogs, now it's time to play the Isle of Cats. That was terrible. This is a cat placement game. It's basically, it's a kind of very complex and pretty Tetris. How can I say? The excuse for the game is pretty lame. There is this Paradise Island. It's a cat sanctuary. But a evil lord, the evil Lord Vesh, found out about the island and about the resources of the island, and it's going there with a fleet to destroy the island and killing the cats in the process. So you and 3 other players, although there's an expansion for 6 players, you have to get your boats to the island and rescue as many cats as you can. So you have both cat meeples and you have the tiles with the cats. Those are the weirdest cats the designer, the artist could think of. So you have blue cats, green cats, cats with 3 eyes, cats with antlers, and they are all in weird positions, just like cats like to do. So every tile kind of remembers a very complex Tetris, and you have to stick the tiles you collect into your boat. So there are tiles that look like L's, ones that look like crosses, ones that look like zigzags. You have to fit them on your boat. Every player has a boat, has a mat, and you go collecting the cats. There's also a central, how can I say this, a central mat, which represents the island, and how many turns away is the evil ship of the evil lord. So you have to rescue as many cats as you can before it comes. So there are meeples, there are tiles, and there are also, let's see, 85 unique card tiles, 17 for each family of cats, because a lot of cats repeat, so you have the green cats, for example, in several different cat positions. If you have a cat, you will recognize all those acrobatic positions that the cats are in. There's a mythical cat, special cat called Oshex. Then you have also treasure tiles that you can collect, and 30 lesson cards. Each lesson cards give you a personal objective and changes how you want to fill your boat. Because just collecting the cats is not enough. You need to have personalized objectives that change between games. With 30 of those, you can replay this game several times. Kickstarter pack comes with large cat meeples. They're 50% bigger. 62 wooden fish that you use to attract the cats. More cards included for... where's... here. 5 and 6 player expansion. Obviously adds support to 2 extra players. And also increases the replayability of the base game because it adds more lesson cards that you use to change the outcome of the game. I liked the art a lot. It's not very easy. Like most artists are very good at drawing, let's say, humans. But you see when the person only knows how to... I read a lot of comic books. So I see a lot of artists that don't really know how to draw children. Even famous artists like John Romita Jr., he doesn't know how to draw children. He draw smaller humans with giant heads. Some artists can't draw cars or buildings. But this guy here, he knows how to draw cats. For sure. I can't find the name of the artist.
While you're looking for the name of the artist, I do want to point out to some of our audio listeners that the game, the Tetris-esque aspect, if that made you think of Patchwork, which is a 2-player game that has similar sort of concepts, you are thinking correctly. This is very similar to how Patchwork looks when it comes to having these like Tetris-y looking shapes played to a board that is a grid where you will be trying to fit them all together, sort of. And so I assume that this is going to come with like a restriction on how you're going to be picking up the cats and which shape you can get. So you're trying to figure out, how do I fit this shape that doesn't block off a bunch of random stuff, as opposed to how do I get the specific shapes that are on the board that I definitely want A, I want C, I want F. I have to deal with what I'm dealing with as I get it, rather than like try to plan too much out. I think this is going to be a lot like Patchwork, but with cats. So I think those that maybe were confused about what the Tetris-esque tiles meant might have that cleared up if they know what Patchwork looks like.
Mm-hmm. The designer is called Frank West. He's also known for being the world builder for the City of Kings. The lead artist is called Dragolisco. It's actually Juan Arrabal from Madrid, Spain. His art is awesome. I
like that realistic Spyro.
And what else? We have Sarah Jones as assistant producer, Ian O'Reilly as the primary writer, Alec Jackson that created visual identity and brand, and Wally, which is from Watts Games, which is managing actually their accounts. So shipping. Right now, they discounted shipping by £12. Oh, I forgot to tell you. The project is from Bristol in the UK. So the price here are in pounds. So UK, Ireland, United States shipping is free because they're discounting £12. Canada £5, Australia only £6. And then there's 4 different European regions. Mexico, Brazil, and Saudi Arabia is the toughest shipping. It's £30. There an asterisk.
That's actually not that bad though, right?
Shipping to Brazil is sent as part of a bulk shipment to a warehouse, removing custom fees. Ooh, that's good. However, it does add 2 months to the shipping period. So it's expensive. It's £30. It's the price of the game because they are already paying for customs. That's good.
The price of the game.
The game is hefty. It's £50, which is about $63 for the full copy and Kickstarter pack, including all stretch goals. They are predicting March 2020 to ship. I have never played this kind of game before. You just quoted 2 games that kind of look like that. It just reminds me of like the tile placing game, but with kind of a puzzle element because the cat tiles are kind of like Tetris. I like this idea a lot. I won't be able to back this right now. Especially because it's in pounds, it's too expensive for me to reach for me. But I hope to see this game on retail shelves. So one day when I'm traveling abroad, I can buy and bring this home.
Yeah, I'm particularly excited for this game. I really would like to back it myself as well, but I'm actually lean for July. So my whole problem is that if it had another like 7 days on it, I would be able to back it, but it's going to fund too early for me, so I'm going to be looking for this in retail. The other game that this kind of reminds me of is, not really. It does have similar shaped tiles like Founders of Gloomhaven, but Founders of Gloomhaven is more of a circuit building game, and this is definitely more of a area management game, where you definitely have a odd shaped grid that you're trying to fit everything in, not connect things to necessarily. But yeah, this looks really exciting actually.
All right, so I think those are our recommendations for the day.
That's it for another episode of the show. If you have any questions about the games we featured, or if you'd like us to consider a game on the podcast, feel free to email us at thecurators@gamerati.com, and we will answer you on the podcast.
You can also reach Joey or myself on Twitter and Facebook at Gamerati. The show notes for this episode and all our episodes are at thecurators.gamerati.com. You can also find The Curators on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, or Spotify.
And don't forget to check out our curated page at kickstarter.com/gamerati. We are also on YouTube at youtube.com/gamerati.
All right, Joey. See you next week then.
I'll see you next week.